Morning, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Well, we had a terrible storm hit last night, but the rain passed me by, fortunately. It was supposed to be hail and rain, and there were tornadoes in the area, they said. I had a horrible time keeping the tarp on here, so I threw my benches in the bed of the truck, and it helped. The ladders I put down in the ground because, as you all know, I have had bad experiences with flying ladders in the past. So I laid everything flat, all but one ladder, which I intentionally propped up here with an extra tarp on it to help protect there was a gap between the plastic sheets. It was supposed to rain. I was in Pennsylvania yesterday visiting Bill from a YouTube subscriber, a friend of mine as well. Gave me those windows, which I'll show you in a minute. And the storm hit when I was coming home, and it hit hard. So I was racing against time trying to beat that storm home, and I did. I made it. But I'll tell you, it was hard to keep this secured. I closed everything up. I had the tarp on here. I put a chair on this blocks leaning outwards to push the tarp outwards to help keep if it rained, to keep the rain from going inside. Now this thing here was taken off. This thing was trying to fly, and it was lifting me off my toes last night. This was up against the side of the house, and as I was trying to drag it back, it was going straight up. There was a direct upwards pull on it, and it was lifting me up on my toes. That was a nightmare trying to secure that thing. So I ran around and I grabbed a bunch of cement blocks, putting them on the feet to help tie it down. And that did the job. It never took off after that. So I made it. Now, since I'm standing right here and the tarp's off of it, a lot of people are asking what I'm going to do for a wood stove this year. And a neighbor of mine had this. There's the coal stove that I have up for sale, and I have a series of stoves now, so I'll tell you what my plans are for all my stoves. And if Alan is watching this, the military stove that I got is going in the workshop, because that is going to be awesome to quick heat that up. I can use a liquid fuel for fast heat in my workshop in winter, and then use wood or coal for normal, cheap, and free heat. So that workshop's going to be nice and cozy, toasty, warm this winter. Now, out here I have a canopy, which I hope, if I get time and if things work out well enough, I hope to secure that canopy, because it's not designed for winter snow loads. The thing will crush and collapse. I've seen in the reviews, I've seen photos of these things ripped to shreds and the metal bent and demolished. So I hope to secure that by putting tarps over top at an angle, which will take the snow load and dump it off on the ground and keep it off the canopy. And then I want to put tarps around the sides to close that in and just have a slide away opening area. And that's going to be an outdoor workshop, and that's probably where I'll put the barrel wood stove that I was using in the RV last year, because that barrel will be perfect for outdoor work, working on small engines out there. So in winter I'll probably be doing a lot of small engine work and get a lot of stuff put together for sale next year, and maintaining my own vehicles, by the way. So then I've got this stove here, the little coal one, and the potbelly. The potbelly, I'm not sure, I can't quite part with it, because that one I used in my camper, that's an antique, and it's so cute and special, and I'm a little attached to it because it got me through, but it's not convenient due to the water. So I've got this guy here. This is a airtight, more modern design, and it's pretty heavy. The door alone, you can feel the weight of it. It's very heavy, pretty thick gauge metal. So this is going to be my wood stove in the house. I'm gonna lightly steel wool it and then paint it, because it got a little bit of weather this summer before I got my hands on it. I've got all the fire brick for inside. The previous owner had put all new fire brick in it, and I've obviously got a screw missing there. That goes over the exhaust, and it's supposed to be airtight. It's got a glass window for viewing. That'll be nice, and oh, that'll be so beautiful inside. Seeing the fire through that glass, that'll be pretty. So Better in Bends is the name. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I've got the door for down here. There's the ashtray, and there's the guides for the fire bricks. Everything's there. It was just the guy that had picked it up. He had to take it apart to put it in his vehicle to get it home. So my neighbor, the guy I deal with all the time. So there's everything there. There's the front door for the bottom, and it isn't airtight. So you've got the air intakes are actually screws, so you can really tighten this down against the air. Well, you can control the air intake very well. And there's one of the grates from inside. There's another one in there, I think, still. I hadn't showed this because I had it covered. Yeah, there's the other grate. Everything's in there. So yeah, I just didn't show it because I had it covered, and I've been so busy running around. Now this is a nice, convenient, smallish stove, which is going in the tiny house on wheels, and hopefully it's going to go in there pretty soon. I'm going to have help to get it in there. I think it's roughly about 200 pounds maybe, empty, without all the fire bricks, so it might be 250 full with all the doors and everything on it. But that's going to fit on the wheel well. And the reason I chose this stove of all things is because of the larger opening here, and I can get, like that pot-bellied stove, I'd have had to cut that in half to get it inside. That just wouldn't fit. Here, I can almost get it in. Now you can see, this is not a big log, so this is still a relatively small stove, which means I've noticed in my experience, the smaller the stove, the more efficient they burn. So I'm not going to be able to get full-size logs in this thing. That's not even, what is that, just about 14 inches? I'll measure that. The thing is, I'm going to have to measure my boards, my logs, and cut them, because all these logs, none of these will fit. Maybe this will. There's a shorter one. Yeah. See, it won't fit straight in. So I'll have to go like this and drop it in, and two of them is going to fill up that burning chamber. So that's a small stove. So I'm going to have to recut all my logs and resplit all my lumber to fit that properly. But it's going to be nice. Oh, it's going to be toasty warm inside that tiny house. These guys here, there's no way they'll ever fit in there. Your standard logs, 18-inch logs, forget it. So I'm going to have to cut them down. There's going to be a lot more cutting this season with the chainsaw to resize all my logs. But, as I said, it's going to be nice in there. Alright, I'm not the type of guy that you're going to see a lot of bug videos and a lot of insect studying. But this is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. I thought it was a piece of leaf, but the shape is weird. I have never seen, ever, such an odd thing on land. Look at the, almost like tentacles. It looks like something from the ocean. What is this? Sadly, it stopped moving when I grabbed the camera. Maybe it's shy. I'm certainly not going to touch it. It's very slow. I can't imagine it can get anywhere very fast. It looks like a worm that was cut. What is this? It's almost freaky looking. Never seen anything anywhere near like that. It's so slow. Anybody ever see such a thing? Sorry about the unsteadiness, but when I have the camera that close to something, it shows every shake and twitch. What is it? Let me see if I can get it with a stick. Hold on. Well, there it is, upside down. I turn it over. It looks like something from the ocean, not from land. Again, forgive me if you're not interested in this, but this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen on land. What is this? It's so weird. Aliens have landed. Watch it lash out a long tongue and inject me with something. I have never seen something like that. Wow, it's weird. It's like a sea creature on land. Not very fast. Where are you? Oops. Can't zoom that far. Sure isn't very fast. Where did it come from? It doesn't even seem to use what looks like feet. Isn't that weird? Tell me what you think, guys. Well, there's a tiny house insulation. Rockwool all the way around the lower edge. I used 2.5 bales, there's a half there, of rockwool to get this done all the way around the entire house. Of course, that part already has the radiant foil and the OSB in the bathroom, but it's good. Now I've got 1.5 bales left, and I'm just going to literally continue right here and work my way back around until I run out, just using the rest of that stuff up. And then after that, I'll start with the fiberglass upstairs and work my way around up there. So I should get, if not all of it, a majority of the insulation done today, I think, the way it's looking. I want to concentrate on that and really try to knock it out, so then I can start putting up the radiant foil and then the paneling inside. Because outdoors, there's nothing I can do outdoors now without help. Everything I have to do now requires a ladder. I gotta get a little bit more tape on this right here and a couple seams, but other than that, I need to get tar paper on here, which a lot of people are telling me, and yes, I agree. But to do the tar paper requires ladders and a second hand, because if I fall out here, there's nobody gonna hear me. There's nobody around. So I get a lot of advice to be careful and take precautions, and I'm going to listen to that advice and not be getting up there too much trying to handle tar paper. And today's a bit too windy anyway for the tar paper. I don't know if you can see the trees blowing that much. Sometimes it looks like it is more off camera than it is. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. The camera tries to stabilize the images. Anyway. So, it's insulation day today, and that'll help keep this place cool. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like temperature-wise with the insulation in, because this place has usually been a fridge at night and an oven in the day. So we'll see how much difference that makes. Well, there it is. Rockwool started there, worked all the way around the house, through the kitchen and bathroom, through the living room, almost all the way up here. Here's where I ran out. But I got 2 layers all the way through here, and all the way around the living room, 2 layers high, and all the way to the end of the front wall. So that's the end of the rock wall. The living room is very nicely insulated, and the sound deadening quality of this stuff is amazing. There's no more echo in this house, and it's really starting to look like a house. I know I keep saying this, but this is really exciting. I'm going to use up that insulation after lunch. I'm going to finish up upstairs and start working upstairs with all the bales of insulation there, and that'll help keep this place cool. So I'm going to try to hurry up with my lunch before the sun starts beating on this house. Because once the sun starts hitting the house full blast, it gets hot up there. Really hot upstairs. But I'm pretty sure that radiant barrier will help, and will definitely eliminate that problem. Let me take you upstairs and show you what I'm up to here. Shoes off down here. This is shoe-free zone. I had the blanket there because I was working earlier with shoes on. Up the stairs. Now, I got some ideas for insulating. I was experimenting, and somebody had mentioned how the staples are there for a purpose, to staple the insulation in place, but since these are 16 on center insulation rolls, and I've got 24 on center, they sort of hang out in a horrible way. So I decided to go back to this method, cutting them sideways, because they actually retain their shape better sideways, and they hold themselves up sideways very well. And I found a use for the Tyvek tape that I bought, that Tyvek house tape. I thought I was going to take it back, but I'm using it here to tape the insulation in place and stop it from puffing out. Because if it puffs out and touches the radiant foil, then the radiant foil will not be effective from stopping outside heat from getting in during summer months, as I need at this time, because it's an oven up here when the sun is shining like right now. So the radiant barrier will keep the upstairs, the entire house, cooler in summer and warmer in winter. So you got to keep that flush, because you need at least 3/4 inch gap between the radiant shield and in anything, in order for it to be effective. And mine is double-sided, therefore it will work for indoors, blocking winter heat loss and summer heat gain. So that Tyvek tape, I start it over here and I pull it tight, and then I wrap it around the outside edge of the next 2x4, and then over here I start it over here and pull it tight and just extended it past a little ways and overlapped, and it's going to keep that insulation in place and it'll never fall down. So pretty good. So I'm actually going to probably pull these down and redo them like this. This is just so much better, and it's just going to hold itself up well. And it works out, funny enough, it works perfect that it's not quite a full width up here, so I cut a piece off, which is a long enough strip to fit and fill these gaps down here. So each leftover piece from one of these fills the gap underneath it. How perfect is that? So it's gonna be really good. Now this is a window. If I use the big windows, I'm still looking into that. But if so, that's a window and that's a window. So I'm going to skip on and work on down over there and along the side walls here. Now up here in this angled piece under the roof, I haven't finished framing. I'll probably do that at a future time. And because I'm trying to figure out if I do a window, unfortunately if I put a window in here, because it's not a lot of space, it's a 5-foot height. The windows are 24-inch rough opening, which would make mean I'd have to remove this stud and move it over some, which isn't, I guess, too horrible. But the window would have to be in the corner and extend almost to the floor, which isn't really cool. Who wants a window on their floor? Problem is, from here to here is less than 24 inches. And I don't know, I hate to come from here and knock out this top beam and come down. That would maybe, I guess, be the best if that ended up being the case. But I don't know, I have to figure that out, because I really hate to take out the structural integrity of this side wall. That's the original wall framing right there, and I don't want to mess with that at all if I don't have to. So I might look for smaller windows that would go up here, something that can actually open though and allow hot air out. And I'm thinking about right up in here on each end of the house, right here in this front face, putting in a fan, 120 millimeter computer fan with a solar panel, which would be outside obviously, and the fan inside, with a screen on the outside of the wall, and then a shroud outdoors to keep rain off obviously. And anytime the sun was shining, that fan will be running, and that'll help keep humidity out of here and keep the heat down. I want to have a fan there, and I want to have a fan in the opposite corner, same exact thing, and that'll help a lot in reducing heat in here. Plus, down there under the wheel well, I'm going to have a fresh air intake, probably 2 fans to account for the 2 fans upstairs. So I'll have the fresh cold air, especially in summer. I'll probably have these so I can close one off in winter. But in summer, I want to have 2 fans pulling cold air from down underneath the RV and sucking it in through the house, and then hot air being blown out through the 2 corners. So I think that would help a lot, and those would be running the whole daytime. So I'm just going to keep plugging along here on the insulation. It's looking good, and I think it's going to be really solid. It's going to hold up, I think. So there's one roll of fiberglass insulation. Does 4 studs on the 12-foot wall. I don't have the nailer in the corner, so I'm not going to do these 2 yet. I got to get that nailer in there. So I've got, what do I got? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 studs over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There'll be another roll. There's 2 rolls. Now the short wall is going to take less. So I'm going to work my way around here. Again, I'm not doing these 2 yet until I get a nailer in there. I'll do that maybe tomorrow. Today I just want to keep rolling this insulation out. So I'm going to start here and work my way around the corner and see how much it takes. I bet 1 roll will bring me to the end of the loft here. So I'm going to toss another roll up here and see what it takes to get that done. Well, over there I've got 2 rows done. Here I've got 4 rows done. I've got 3 rows here. And around behind me I've got 3 rows done. So the hardest is going to be to do this wall over here, because I have to use a ladder for that. That's the wall that leads down into the living room. But I figured I'd get it done today, but time flies and I gotta go to church tonight, so that's gonna be it. Oh well, I'll get it. Hi, it's Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. I'm just sitting here taking a little time out and reading my antique Bible, using my new study and my my antique table, sitting up here just having a break. I have to head off to church soon, but I figured I'd just take a little short time out and relax and use my stuff that I've worked so hard to gain. The study is going to be large enough. It's absolutely perfect. It's comfortable. Obviously sitting down, I sort of slowed down when I looked at the camera, but sitting here, there's perfect headroom, and I'm not even all the way to the back where to the high peak. So this will work out well. When I'm done insulating, I'll move this over to the wall, and I'll have bookshelves behind me and around me so I can just reach and grab what I want to study. But I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Already this morning or this afternoon I took a time out, and I've got this antique Bible in here, and this lid, this little desk with a lid is perfect because when you have a cat, you don't want your antique valuable books like that to be destroyed. And now I can leave it in here and leave it open. Well, this is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, I guess I better get myself going. I just wanted to let you know how it's going. The study is great. I'm already using it. So, see you guys later.